Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Joe. Today is March the 28th. Hopefully you're having a great weekend. In my journey to 250k, I'm currently at 133,824 for the week, down by about 8%, which is about 12,000. For the month, down by about 11%, which is about 18,000. 3 months down by about 6%, which is about 9,000. Last year up by about 49%, which is about 44,000. So if you like some transparency, in some channel that shows you, the growth every single week, month, 3 month, and the year, I think you can subscribe to our channel. We have a lot of good stuff planned ahead for you guys. Thank you for just supporting a small YouTube channel and growing so far to even more than 250 subscribers in a span of a couple of weeks. We're targeting to hit 1,000 soon, so just give you a thumbs up for YouTube algorithm so that we can grow even faster. Don't forget to subscribe, share, as well as just let me know in the comments section below what you think about this update on every Sunday to show my whole portfolio, all my options, all my stocks, so that you can kind of be updated every week what I got into, what I got out of. But one thing also to mention is I usually do on Mondays, I do probably 3 covered calls, and I'll give you some examples of the stock I usually go after. So I usually buy those on Monday, and then they expire on Friday for the most part. I like doing the weeklies for the covered calls, but I'll touch a little bit on those in case anybody is interested in knowing. But let's just go straight to it. So right now I have an Uber call which I'm up, AMD put, 2 of them which I'm up, Dropbox I'm down. I'll probably lose all the money in that call because I don't know if 1 week is enough to get me to a point where I can recover, but I'll talk in another video on how to just recover a little bit when you're going down in a call option. So PFE down by $9, DraftKings down by about $45, CCL, this was positive last week, but it looks like we're on the red, so negative $2. ZNGA, it's a little bit ahead of time, so I think I have enough time to figure out if I can recover a little bit of money, but I'm negative 50. T, it's currently negative $16. TEL, Tellurium, negative 137. I think once Tellurium goes up, I should be able to recover most of the money because this expires in January of next year. So I'm not super worried, but the others, some of them I might lose probably up to 100 or something bucks. I have Fuel Cell, which is plus $15. I at some point had this up by about 1,700, but usually since it's a year out, I didn't want to take profit, and I'll talk a little bit about how to decide if you want to play the long game or if you need some funds, how to do the trailing stop losses and stuff like that, so that you can secure some profit. I'll touch a little bit on that, but yeah, I'm not super worried. I think we'll go back to some good stock price in the near future. SNDL currently negative 22. Same applies. Last week I was probably positive for some few days and then went negative. So still old Tesla, 70 shares. Etsy is the one that I do weekly covered calls in. It's usually pays around 90 something bucks. So every week I get around 90 bucks from Etsy. The only downside to remember is for covered calls, if the stock shoots up more than the target you have, you might have to sell your shares. But I'll also show you a way of buying the same like a counter to the covered call so that you can retain the shares. You'll still pay the premium, but it's safer that way. I think it happened to me maybe a month or 2 ago, whereby I thought I was going to get the premium and still retain the shares, but the price shot way up, and by Friday morning I noticed that it wasn't going to drop that much. So what I did, I just counter bought a play that neutralized the whole thing, so I retained the 100 shares, and I'll show you all that with time. So IDEX 2000 shares, CleanSpark 150, Neo 150, Zomedica 500. A lot of people have been talking about Zomedica. I think you don't have to panic sell if you're a long-term investor. You can hold it, usually say 6 months to a year. So I'm positive that once everybody sold off, we should be fine probably next month once we know their sales in true former, but I'll keep you posted in another video. So CTRM, I have 750 shares. I think this is an interesting play given the news about the Suez Canal ship that is stuck there. I think a lot of people are seeing it also as a positive, because I believe folks think that the prices can be hiked up because a lot of ships are backed up, but that's another point of discussion we'll have in another video for CTRM. INAV, that's 1,000 shares, still up. ZNGA 732 profit so far, so 200 shares. Butterfly, I think this is a really good play that I'm gonna hold long term. I think they have some interesting technology on their handheld devices for x-rays. Fuel Cell, Thunderbridge, I actually thought this was a really safe place to put my money. So far I've actually lost 182, but I can't complain. It could have been worse with the red days we've had in the several weeks. It's just been dip after dip, so I'm not complaining there, but I do park some money in that stock as well. ChargePoint, I'm up $35. I have 100 shares. Rocket, I have 104. I have a video which showed how I got the 4.77, which is like a special dividend that was paid out. NRZ, 150 shares, that's a REIT. APXT, I'm negative 1,000. Anybody who knows about this company, I think they have some interesting stuff coming in the pipeline. So if you're negative, don't worry. I think just hold on. We should be recovering in a few months. So I'm not super worried. One thing to know is any negative, this is just paper loss. It's not a loss until you sell. So don't really think too hard about being on the negative. Just embrace it. You will learn over time about patience and your mindset in terms of investing. So don't freak out that you're on the negative. Provided you did your due diligence, believe in the stock, you should be fine regardless of how the market moves. Unless you're very reactive to things and news, that might be a problem on your end you have to solve. So SNDL, I have 2,500. It's a risky play, it's a penny stock, but I feel like that 2,500 shares in 2 years or so, we might be talking about a really good return. UAVS, up by about 129. I was planning to sell this at the highs, but I thought I had put this trailing stop loss, but I hadn't. So I still have the shares, so I might just leave them there. But if I need some funds to get into new plays, I might sell it, because I usually try and have at least 100 shares minimum of every play, but this one hasn't reached there yet. A Golden Nugget, 150 shares. TNXP, that's a penny stock, 500 shares. Tellurium, 200 shares. PSEC is dividend play, 207.41. ISR, it's another penny stock. I have several penny stocks, and for those people who started watching me when we started, we were talking about these penny stocks. If you're a short-term investor, once they pop, just put a trailing stop loss, take your profit and get out of plays, wait for a dip and buy in. But for me, when I like a stock, even if it's a penny stock, I'll just leave it. A good example is how Neo, when we were buying it at $1, made some money, and then it took a while to get back in, and when you go back in, you are kind of late. It had run up so first. So I feel like I don't want to repeat the mistakes I've done in the past when Neo is a penny stock, and we were talking about it. People are like skeptical, and look at it right now, it's $30, even though it ran up to like 60 plus. So yeah, Nokia, 600 shares. PTE, 500 shares. Oh, it's a REIT, 50.77. I've not been able to add onto all, but I think it's kind of decent enough that I wouldn't even want to sell it just because it has some dividends. Palantir, 100 shares. This company, the next year or so, those people who've invested in it, I believe, will have a good return. CRIS, I need to sell this. So as soon as I see some good positive uptake in the market, I'll sell it because, like I said, I like having 100 shares. Besides all, that's one of the companies that I would want to just sell. CCIV, I have 201 shares. I think the chip shortage has affected all the EVs, and if you have an EV play, don't worry too much. There's a lot going on, so just keep on just holding and believing in your stocks. NAK, 525 shares. BNGO, 100 shares. CHEK is 200 shares. For those who got into this play when we first talked about it and it hit about $4, people are able to take some good profits. Like I mentioned, I don't sell mine even if they pop, unless really I needed money. But for the most part, I use this account as like a savings account. So if it pops, it's just a good to see. Like I'm almost up by a couple of $100, but that's pretty much it. CTXR, I have 700 shares. I'll touch a little bit about this in a separate video. This is the play that I did mention a couple of days ago about doubling my stimulus check. So I was gonna look for funds equivalent to 1,400, which I think I'm shy about maybe $20-30, but yeah, I have like 1,300 and change invested in this, and we'll see if we're able to double that stimulus check. So it's gonna be interesting. It's a penny stock, speculative, risky. Quick reminder, this is just for entertainment purposes only, so just make sure you do your own due diligence. I'm not vouching for any stock, it's just showing you what I'm doing to hopefully multiply that stimulus check amount. So T, I have 10.18 shares. I'm still holding this. I usually just have it there to kind of see the movement. At the same time, main, I have like one share. I'm up $7. I like just seeing the movement. Tattoo Chef, for those who've been following me for the last few weeks, I started building my position. Last time we were at 50. I did sell Li Auto a few weeks ago. I did mention that I was fearful about Chinese companies, and it happened that last week a lot of bad news were coming from China about the listing and what those fears are about, and as well as in addition to the chip shortage. So I decided to only hold NIO as the only Chinese company and sold everything else that was a China play. So you can see that money went into 20 more shares of Tattoo Chef. So I have 70. I still need to buy 30 more so that I can have my position full built. GEN, 300 shares. I'm down by about $200. This stock actually is very interesting. I actually was very positive in terms of the return, but it just tanked. The same applies to Workhorse. We bought the rumor. We were expecting to kind of have it our way, but it went the opposite direction. So I've been also doing covered calls with Workhorse to just recover a little bit of money. We did do a lot of option plays with it, so I think I might be in reality negative maybe $100 or $200, but I'll touch on those strategies later on. So when you see the losses and I'm still holding, it's kind of I'm back holding, but not really, because I've already made the money on it, and I just think there's gonna be some news at some point, so I'm just holding it. I'm not in a rush to sell at a loss. I really don't sell at losses. It doesn't make sense. So I just hold on unless I really needed the money for an emergency or something like that. So ZSAN, negative 1,000 is a penny stock. Penny stocks are very risky. So folks who see my penny stock plays, be very careful. I'll repeat that. Make sure that you put your trailing stop losses on. I don't. I only do that when I am in like a short-term play, and I don't get into short-term plays a lot besides just options, because options there's a big possibility you can have your return pretty high, and you want to secure it real fast. Other than that, for long-term plays, I usually just leave them. But an exception for penny stocks, you'll probably have to consider that, because you just don't want to be on the negative, more so if you've invested a good chunk of change on your end. And the last thing, I have Dogecoin, 5,875 of those. I did have Dogecoins like 4 or 5 years ago, but I converted that to Bitcoin in a different exchange, and I have a few of the altcoins. But yeah, this is just for fun, and I'm up $3. I wouldn't advise somebody investing the money that they care about. Just be willing to lose if you put money in such a speculative play. Bitcoin, Ethereum, those are different. Those are beasts. So if you have a high conviction, I think those are really good alternative to investments, so you can have a little bit of your portfolio in those. But that's pretty much it for this week. Thank you so much for reaching this far. Let me know in the comments section what do you think about my plays. I'll be touching base a little bit more on covered calls on Monday probably, and showing you real time of either an Etsy play or whichever I decide to, and then we'll do other series for options, just to make you guys familiar with options, so that you start changing your mindset into investing. We want to have a combination of long-term as well as short-term investing, so that you can just have both strategies and use whichever that works and has the best return on your end. I think we should be able to hit 250k, and if the market looks kind of murky right now, I'm very positive that we'll overcome this in the next couple of months, and we'll go back and start being on a positive trend. Worst case scenario, it will be a learning lesson, and we'll know how to approach such a scenario in the future. But yeah, that's it. Be green, be safe. See you on the next one.